Welcome to another episode of The Second Coming. I'm here with Brother T. I'm your host, Jason Keaton. Here we are, back together again, Brother T. How are you feeling today?
Doing fantastic, man. Doing fantastic, man. It's almost mid-spring already. You know, time is moving very fast. We're in the month of May, and I'm going to a convention out in Boulder, Colorado, here in another week or so, and pretty excited going out to hear the guides speaking through Paul Selig. It's a 2-day workshop out there in Boulder, and invite anybody who wants to come out and join us for that. It's going to be quite a, I think, spectacular event. The guides have already published 12 books. The 13th book is already finished, but it'll be published in print later this year, here in a few months, and I'm just looking forward to that next book. But what a beautiful way to communicate to us that the guides have used to help us to see ourselves on this spiritual pathway and to move beyond some of the barriers that we've created for ourselves. And it aligns perfectly with the pathway that Jesus has set out for us through his work. Just to mention a few, of course, the Course in Miracles came into existence and published in 1975. And so it's, 50 years now since it was, published. And then about 20 years later, we had A Course of Love. And then the third Miracles book, A Journey into the Unknown, is now available 20 years later from there. So there's so much great information, and that's not to even mention, well, I will mention, Mark Hammer, JM, the Way of Mastery series. You can go to wayofmasterylibrary.com and get all of that for free. And there's just so much perfectly aligned content for us now to follow for anyone that has an interest in what self-realization actually is, a pathway of conscious evolution, and it's just clearly laid out for us now for anyone to follow. And it takes some time to follow this pathway, but we have eternity after all. So if you want to avoid a few more 100 lifetimes, this is a good time to pick up one of those books and begin your journey.
I love that. And that's May 17th and 18th in Boulder, Colorado. Is that correct?
That's right.
Yeah. Maybe we can put a link down at the bottom or in our comment section there for Paul Selig's workshop. It sounds like an amazing time. I will not be there because my daughter is graduating high school. Youngest daughter is graduating high school. So that's going to be a beautiful family event here in Ohio. But I'll be with you. My spirit will be partially with you, Brother T.
Always.
So, Brother T, my question today comes from one of my yoga groups. It was one of them from the other week when I was there and asked people to help me out and write some comments. But it's a pretty basic question on the surface, but we can dive into it so much more in spirituality. And the question is, how can I obtain true peace and happiness in this lifetime?
Great question. So let's call in a little guidance. Let's take a good deep breath. So as the room is filling up now with guidance, masters, family, each of us have guides that are always in our attendance to us. And I feel the spirit of love joining us now. So we ask for only that which expresses Christ consciousness, and only that which is in alignment with the highest level of love, Christ consciousness. And that is what we asked to be our expression in our communication today. We know who we are in truth. We know what we are in truth. We know how we serve in truth. We are free. We are free. We are free. I am in the upper room. I am here. I have come. I am known. Behold, I make all things new. It will be so. God is. God is. God is. It is. It is. It is. So as we return to this space and place and time outside of time, one last good deep breath. So Jason, just to be sure I'm succinct here, the question again was, repeat that please.
The question was, how do I obtain true peace and happiness in this lifetime?
Heaven on earth. How do I attain heaven on earth? Well, the simple answer to that question is by being Christ. Oh, no, you can't do that. Christ is way above anything that you could ever be. No, that's a lie. That is the big lie. It permeates the country, permeates the world. That Jesus was beyond our capacity as an experience and beyond what we are. And that was a lie. That was never what his teaching was. He taught his disciples about how powerful they are. And they were at that time as micro droplets of God, and how their soul was maturing, and he came to help them on their journey. He also came to fulfill a prophecy, which really was saying, this prophecy that we could know God in form, and you can know God in form because you can know yourself as a piece of God in form, as Christ in perfect safety. You can dissolve your egoic mind into the perfect peace of God. So to acquire an experience of perfect peace and joy, right, you just simply stay on the pathway to enlightenment. Self-enlightenment leads to peace and joy and bliss, I might add, as the effect of following your heart's desire, which is to be expressing in form as Christ in perfect safety. Fearless, because there's no fear there. So when we talk about the upper room, we're really talking about being at a level of consciousness. It's not a physical room. It is a conscious room where there are no limitations, and all of the fearful thoughts and judgmental thoughts of the egoic mind cannot be heard there. They cannot be honored there. They cannot be attended to there, right? Because in that room, this higher level of consciousness that you ascend to, as you attune to, and as you claim it as your experience, and you have to claim it as your experience to experience it. Someone said one time at some point in my past that, Bill Clinton was telling people when he was in elementary school that he was going to be the President of the United States. He was claiming it. And that's why he experienced it. He claimed it. He told everybody that's what he was going to be. That's what he was going to do. And that is your responsibility, to claim your divinity. In order to experience it, you have to begin to claim it. You have to begin to accept it as a true belief that is something that's possible for you. Jesus said it clearly. Even the least among you will do more than I. I'm paraphrasing, of course. There are a few things that got through in the Bible, in the reconstruction of his teaching, in traditional, theology. The power structures have absolutely maintained their power, right? I was hearing something recently about the Vatican, and they were making remarks. The leadership there, the Pope has passed away, and they're in the process of electing a new Pope or whatever. But they were talking about how, we shouldn't have borders, blah blah blah. But I think somebody said around the Vatican there's a wall that's 40 feet tall. You know, the hypocrisy lives on. But not to condemn the church. They're doing the best they can. Who's not? Who's not doing the best they can? Everybody's doing the best they can. Sometimes we just don't know that our best is available to us, and so we act out of fear, and we act out of judgment, and we act out of a sense of needing to protect, or needing to control, or needing to condemn, or needing to punish. You know, we have all these wonderful tools that we've established, our judicial system. Millions, I don't know, it's some staggering number of people that are now incarcerated, just in the United States alone. It's unbelievable, right? So this whole construct of punishing people makes them better, I know, it's a finishing school. People go to prison and they come out bigger criminals, more educated at how to be a criminal, and more connected with organizations, gangs, so that they can come through the ranks and become more powerful as criminals. And they learn tools about how to be more effective and how to get away from the law and how to be protected from the law. I mean, all this construct of the ego, can we not see how insane this is? I mean, really, really. So we're either going to participate in that and try to mess around with trying to fix something that's absolutely impossible to fix and it's completely broken, and we keep giving it our power, we keep giving it our awareness, or we can step back and say, get thee behind me. I'm not going to give my attention to that. I'm going to turn off the radio, driving down the road, that is the news that's condemning who's ever on the other side of that fence. I'm going to turn off my TV. I'm going to quit watching horror movies. I'm not going to let my children play war games on video games anymore. Yeah, let them golf, or fly an airplane, or drive a race car. They don't have to kill people. You, as a parent, are responsible for what your children take in your home. No doubt. You're supposed to be a parent. Somebody's got to be the parent, right? Right? And we are responsible to parent ourselves, if you will, to monitor ourselves, to manage ourselves. It's called, in the Way of Mastery, Jesus talks about the 4 keys to the kingdom. The first one is desire. What's your desire? Is your desire to be in control, or is your desire to be happy? Because if your desire is to be happy, follow the other keys, right? The other keys are, set an intention. If I set an intention to be as Christ, maybe I'll go out today and do something radical, Jason, and go to the mall and stand on one of those, plastic chairs and shout and say, hey, I am as God created me to be. I am God's perfect child, and I am here to love you and to forgive you and to help you find your way back to the kingdom of heaven. Step away. Just be something radical today and let people know I am Christ. I'm really trying to do that. I mean, I only have a few people in my life that I can actually say that to them. And say with intention, I am Christ. Mm. Right? And of the ones that I know I can do that with, which is a pretty short list, they would want their friends to, that, well, you can come and talk to my friends, but don't tell them that you're Christ, okay? Well, it might slip out, because that's the truth. If I can't claim it, I can't experience it. And so we have to start claiming it. Jason Christ, right? We have to start claiming what we want to experience. And if we want to experience peace, we have to be peace. We have to withhold judgment, condemnation, and blame from anybody and everybody in our presence. We see everyone with perfect innocence. Move back before you gave judgment. Forgiveness. Before you gave judgment, go back to when you saw that person as innocent. There was some parents at the volleyball games that I recently was playing in, and they brought their boy, and he is now right at 18 months old. And the cutest thing ever. You think I'm having any trouble seeing his innocence? No. No trouble seeing his innocence at all. Now, when he gets to be 18, no, it might not be so easy. Maybe, no. It's always easy when you join with your true self, because your true self only sees the innocence of everything and everyone. Your true self sees God in all. So if you want to have peace in your life, be peace. Take a good deep breath, turn within, ask the question, are you there? And then listen to your inner voice, your guidance from your heart. It's called the Holy Spirit. And Jesus says it's nothing more than your right mind. It is your true self that is all-knowing and able to assist you with the voice of love and certainty in any need you may have. Behold, I make all things new.
I love that, Brother T. And I think you just answered the question that I had just within your last few sentences. But when you were talking, it reminded me of a scenario I had not too long ago where I was talking to this person and she sees everything as negative. She sees this as hell on earth. And I see life mostly as heaven on earth. I mean, I know that we have some bad experiences, but, we talked about vibration last week and we talked about things. But I was discussing, the reasons why I see heaven on earth and the reason why I experience heaven on earth and the reason why I choose to be grateful and show love. And something that kind of caught me off guard is she said, well, I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to make my eyes see something different, or I don't know how to change my perception of what I'm experiencing. What is something you said just recently? God, are you there? But let's say that they're not at this level. Let's say they're still looking through their eyes and they're like thinking to themselves, life sucks. I can't wait till I can start this life over. What's something for the young child in spirituality that's coming in and they're really looking for how to see this dimension of love?
Okay, so that's a great question. Let's just take one thought. Life sucks. You just sent out a messenger. With that one thought, you just sent out a messenger to the world, because thoughts are things. They have a vibrational field. And you sent out a very low-level consciousness thought, a very low vibration. Boo. And it went out onto the world. And it brings exactly back what you said, because the world is reflective. It brings exactly back to you a resonant vibration. And then you check your bank account and you're overdrawn. And you just paid a $35 fee or whatever. Life sucks. As soon as you say it, you define it. You are the energy of the Creator in action. Now, okay, maybe not everybody knows that yet. Well, if they could just learn one thing, they don't have to believe, they can believe whatever they want to believe. But if you just learn one thing, that thoughts are things, and every thought that you have, that you give presence to, has power. It's reflective, and you send out messengers in resonance with that thought, and they bring back to you an experience in alignment with that resonance. So if you say life sucks, your life is sucking. Your life is shit. And it's coming at you full force because you keep reinforcing it, because every time it comes back, you go, see, there's proof, there's validation, I was right. The ego loves to be right. Or you can say, wait a minute. My friend Jason told me this thing, and I'm going to do what he told me. Next time I have this idea that life sucks, I'm going to say, wait a minute. I'm going to take a good deep breath, and I'm going to ask myself a simple question. Right now, maybe life does suck. Maybe it does. I don't know. But right now, in this very moment, what am I grateful for? And if you can't find something that you're grateful for, you're probably close to suicide. Because everybody has things in their life that they're being blessed by. And with one simple thought, what am I grateful for? You went from low-level consciousness to high-level consciousness, and you sent out a messenger, and what's going to return are thoughts of gratitude of things that have happened in your life, people, places and things, events that you've already determined were wonderful for you. And you just shifted from life sucks to life is great in less than 30 seconds. One simple trick of being aware that you're making the choice. The first thing most people aren't aware of, and I certainly wasn't for the first 4 decades of my life, was that I had the power of making a choice. I didn't know I had a choice. She doesn't know she has a choice, and if she doesn't know she has a choice, she'll keep choosing victim consciousness because that's where the ego lives. It lives as the victim. It's the lowest level of consciousness. And if you don't attain, I hate to say this, but I'm just sharing what's so. The God, if you will, has determined that there's so much fear on planet Earth that we're going to compartmentalize itself and say, you know what, I'm setting a standard. If you're not at least at the mid-level of consciousness that the planet is holding upon your, demise, and when you transition and you pass away, you won't have a choice to come back to this planet. You'll have to go to another planet. I have a particular name for that. I won't share it here if I haven't already. But, that's just a line that's been drawn in the sand because fear has begun to consume the entire collective consciousness of our planet because our media is pumping it nonstop, 24/7. And you can't hardly escape it. You know what you got to do? You got to turn it off. It's so hard to just turn it off. But turn it off. Quit setting an environment because you have an intention of having more joy in your life. Quit setting an environment construct where all you're experiencing are negative thoughts. People being murdered continuously on video series, TV series, wherever you're tuning in, people are getting killed and murdered continuously. And the graphics are even more aggressive than ever before in the history of our media on every front. You have to turn it off. You have to make an intention. You have to set an intention to create a different environment for yourself and withdraw from that consciousness, because if you're not, you're adding to it. Whatever you're giving your power of your awareness is unbelievable. And if you are giving your awareness to destruction and death and war and hatred, you're adding to that consciousness. You're adding to that vibration. And you won't be coming back to this planet because this planet is a premier planet to attain enlightenment on. And Spirit has a different agenda. And it will be as God wants it to be, period. Period. Not that people are going to be punished. They're just going to have to, it's just going to be the comeuppance of their own willingness to not realize that love is way more powerful than fear. And why are we focused on fear all the time? Because the power structures use it to keep us in control. Their control, not our control. But God has a different way. Wake up to your own divinity. Wake up to the self that lives in your heart. It's your true self. And it knows, it doesn't guess. It knows, it doesn't imagine. It knows it's not learning. It knows what is needed in each moment when a need arises. And it's available to each and every one of us. And if nobody's told you that, well, no wonder you're struggling. But we're telling you that. If you found us, you're just finding the messengers here, and we're part of the Jesus team, and we're just helping people begin to understand and learn what he taught his disciples 2,000 years ago, but the genie's out of the bottle, right? And she ain't going back in there. The truth is beginning to be learned and appreciated, respected and honored all over the planet now, and the change is happening. So get on board, or you'll be left behind. And that is, that's the way things are. Right? That's the way the world works here. These are the laws of God, not you'll be punished, but you're going to experience what you put out. You will reap what you sow.
Yeah, that's so true. And the powerful vibration of gratitude is so amazing. I mean, the the act of being grateful and the act of love is incredibly powerful. That changes your moment. It changes your day. It changes how you interact with people, and you experience heaven on earth, and you
So, so,
experience a
so I got a
different
question
level.
for you, Jason. What comes before the act?
The thought. The
You have
thought
to start
comes,
at the source. You are the
right?
cause. You're the causative effect. And when we talk about people's actions all the time, but their actions are the result of something else. You can tell people you got to start acting differently. They can act differently, they can pretend, but if they haven't changed their thoughts, then nothing has really changed.
Absolutely.
Thoughts are
And those
causative.
level, you're right, right. And it's hard if you're in that victim level of consciousness, which you can drive around and you can see 75% of our population is in victim level of consciousness. And it takes an effort when you're in there to rise above some of that negativity. It does, and it's maybe a little bit harder to find the gratitude in the little things. But as we continue to practice gratitude and love, our vibration naturally, our baseline just keeps rising and rising and rising, and pretty soon we just live mostly in those higher vibrations. And I know you have a great course on that. Maybe we can talk about that sometime. I love your course teachings of the different series of vibrations, but that's a whole nother discussion, and we can save that for another time, maybe even next week. So actually, maybe next week we're going to hear what you experienced at Paul Selig with the guides and the teachings and all the like-mindedness, love and Christ consciousness that comes in those events. I foresee that as being incredibly special, and for you to be able to share your experience and for you to absorb some of that other energy is going to be amazing. So truly grateful for you, and I wish you safe travels and the best, Brother T. Thank you for sharing with us today and for the community. And we can't do this without you. So like, share, subscribe to even with just one person. Maybe not the same person you did last week. Unless they didn't like, share, subscribe, then hit them again. Just say, hey, come watch these guys. See what you think. And it's not just us, it's all of you. So I want some comments on there so I can get some new ideas that we can approach Brother T with. And Brother T, it's a blessing. It's a blessing. TrueThought.org right here. You can support us there. You can support us wherever you want. But just show us some love. We'll reflect it right back on you.
Well said, Jason. Well said. Well, we wish everybody a wonderful spring. We're heading into Memorial Day. It's just May is one of my favorite months of the year. So much growth and explosion of new growth, and it's just new birth happening all over the place. And so this is just one of my favorite times of the year. So, we hope everybody out there is enjoying how God is being expressing now in nature. If you haven't been out in the woods, get out of the house, put on your walking shoes, and I recommend getting out in nature and just being present and listen and notice how you affect nature when you go there with an open heart and mind.
Beautiful. That's a beautiful homework assignment, Brother T. So everyone, enjoy your amazing day. Create your amazing day. We'll be back here next week on another episode of The Second Coming.
No one left to crucify. And so it is.
Have a great week, Brother T.